Rap Radio. Raw and uncut.
Cubo, and welcome to Chicano Rap Radio. I'm your homie Snipes holding it down, and today we have Christian Velasquez, better known as CGV in the house. So without further ado, let's welcome the homeboy to the show. What's up, G? How you doing today?
What's going on, man? I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for making time to sit down and talk to us about your music, your production, your journey. One of the things that I always like to get started with is a little background information on who you are. So tell me a little bit more about CGV, how you got into the music, and why is it that you decided to focus on production?
Uh, First of all, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, man. And music, man, music is everything. I've been doing it for I think we're going on like 17 years now. I started real young. Um, from a little kid, I was always just real curious about it. I grew up in a household where all kinds of music was playing everywhere at all times. My dad, uncles, everybody was always jamming or something. And as I got older, I got into the hip hop and stuff, through an aunt of mine who was in high school. I'm a little kid, she's in high school and she's jamming all those 90s hits, all that good stuff back in the day. And I was just always real curious about the sounds when I would hear a song. It wasn't necessarily lyrics, but it was always the sounds. I would always think to myself, where did this sound come from? Like, I know what a piano sounds like, I know what a guitar sounds like, but I would hear crazy sounds and songs, and I got curious. I wanted to know how that was created or whatever. And it started there. And once I got a little bit older, in high school, or maybe before that, I started venturing into like rapping and stuff. I started writing, and I was kind of a freestyle rapper. So during lunch, we'd get the crowds in there and we
Get
would
the
flow.
ciphers going.
They would call me out, whatever, we would get the crowd going during
That's
during
right.
lunch. So I did
Where'd you
that
grow
for
up? Where'd you grow up?
Los Angeles, the Silver Lake area. So
Okay, and
that
shout out your high school where it all started.
the high school that I went to was in Las Vegas, out here in Vegas, and I
Oh,
went
okay.
to Desert Pines High School
Okay.
out here in Vegas. Desert Pines High School is where we would do the freestyle. Shout out to everybody who was out there for that.
That's right.
But
Who saw it all start from the beginning, right? Who saw the birth of CGV.
who saw
Now,
that? Yeah.
did you have were you always CGV, or did you have a different like a rap name?
I didn't have a different rap name. I just kind of went uh with that CGV thing, and yeah, I've been known as that for a long time.
And why CGV for everybody that's not familiar with you as a producer?
CGV, those are my initials. My name's Christian Giovanni Velasquez, and I decided to go with like the abbreviation because a lot of artists and producers that I grew up listening to had abbreviations. I mean, I could tell you like ALT, the same, like ODM, lighter shade of brown, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Those sort of guys. I'm like, that's kind of cool, and so I decided to just kind of incorporate that and just
It
do
has a
my
nice sound to it. It rolls.
you know,
CGV.
CGV. It's cool, and it's nice when people call me that. CGV. What's up, CGV? What's going on, CGV? It's nice. It's cool.
So you got into the music because you had an aunt who introduced you to hip hop or rap. You
Yeah.
started rapping, and then you also were interested with the sound. Like, at what point did you make the transition from going to going from freestyling to wanting to produce music?
Um, it was a thing where I was like, I want to be the man behind the music. Like, I felt like being a rapper. First of all, it's not easy. Shout out to everybody, all you guys who rap. It's not easy, but to be the center of attention, like I wasn't really like about it too much. I wanted to be sort of behind the scenes, and since I was curious about creating it, I'm like, what better way than to maybe learn this and be behind the scenes. I could make the music for the artist, and that's sort of why I went that route, the curiosity, and then just I didn't really necessarily want to be front and center as the artist, the main artist. I wanted to do
Okay.
my thing back there like that.
And so how did you get started with the production? Like, do you remember like the first song that you produced, or who you produced it
First
for, where
song,
you felt like you had transitioned from, as a hobby to a little bit more like professional?
Ooh, that probably happened after I went to college. I went to the Los Angeles Film slash Recording School
Okay,
in LA and Hollywood.
that's right.
And after I graduated there, which was like September of 2013, something like that, that's when I made the professional transition. Because before that, I think I started making beats in like I want to say 2008, 2009. That's when I got in there and was like, okay, I want to do this. I want to try this. As a matter of fact, I had just gotten like one of my first credit cards. I had like a $500 limit on there, and I went to the
Guitar
Sam.
Center or
Yeah,
where? Sam Ash?
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell I was gonna buy or what. I mean, I had a little bit of an idea, but I went in there and I maxed that fucker, man. I maxed the
That's
card,
right.
and I got a MIDI keyboard. I got Fruity Loops. FL Studio was the program that I started off with, and I think that was all I was able to get actually. And yeah, I didn't know how to work none of that stuff, but it was cool to have. And I'm like, okay, I got to figure this out. And with instruction manuals and YouTube at the time was just starting to pick up. So I learned how to work the stuff right there. So that was like my rookie. Those were my rookie years, like,
Yeah.
2008, 9, 10, 11, 12. And yeah, that's kind of how I got that start. So yeah, after I graduated, which was like after 2013, that's when I started. I had the connections now and I was working with certain people and stuff started coming out, and that was it.
So I know that you've worked with several, well-known artists since, since you make the jump from, you said, from your rookie year to maybe more, your your later years where you were more, well crafted after you had the professional training at, at college. Who was the first artist that you felt like, okay, wow, that this is really picking up, or you really felt like that your hard work was paying off?
Um, let's see, we have a few, but I think one of the first songs that I was like, holy shit, was when we got Sugar Free on a song. And this was thanks to my good friend Bobby Poison. Shout out to Bobby. What's up, man? He kind of put me in the right positions. He did some stuff like that. He would place me in the right spots, and we ended up doing a song with Iceberg, who is another artist out there. Shout out to Iceberg. Had a song. The song is called My Dough,
My
and
dough.
yeah, had Sugar Free on there. And to me, I mean, I grew up listening to Sugar Free, man. So it was just crazy. And he shouts me out in like the beginning of the song, yo CGV, and to me that just
That's
blew my
right.
mind. And I was like, wow, Sugar Free, I beat Sugar Free's on it. It was a big deal to me for sure.
Yeah.
That's
and,
the
and
one
that's
that I
gonna
was
li-
like,
and
I'm
that's
like,
gonna live forever. Anytime
yeah,
anybody listens to that song, they're like, okay, CGV, let me look him up, or who's CGV,
yeah, yeah,
so to get that kind of like recognition from such a well-known artist, especially so early on in your career, I would imagine it's very inspiring. So what
definitely.
happened after that, exposure with the Sugar Free song?
After that, we kept working. We did some stuff with my guy Poison out of the Hotbox studio, put out a couple mixtapes and stuff. And then I ended up just meeting more people, like Seven, Seven's music. Shout out to my
Yeah.
boy Seven, Hellified
Hmm.
Records.
Yep.
And that was another mind-blowing thing because Seven's been in the game for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's produced for everyone, not just Chicano rap artists, you name it. He's done it. He's been there. So he was like a mentor a little bit for me too, for a while. And he was giving me some good game, and I learned a lot from him. So yeah, I started working with Seven after that, produced a couple things for him. Then through him, ALT the Saint, which again, this is somebody who I grew up listening to, man.
Yeah.
He's dope,
That's
you know.
gonna be a little surreal, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
grew up listening to this person or admiring this person. Now you're working with this person. I mean, how
yeah,
did that
yeah.
make you feel?
Man, it was great. It's a dream come true for sure. Because I'm very big on the hip hop stuff, and when I started getting into Chicano rap, it was crazy. And it's crazy to just work with these people, like all these. I still have CDs. I don't know if you could tell behind there, I got a bunch of CDs up there. A lot of these
Yeah.
guys who I'm talking about, they're in there somewhere,
Yeah.
like and it's crazy. But yeah, it was Seven, and then through there, after that was what else? Worked with Baby Bounds, Malo Mac. Malo Mac was another guy
Mile
who,
back. He's an OG in the game for
and
sure.
he you know, he reached out to me and was like, yo, can you, you know, do some production for me? For sure. And I actually do a little bit of mix engineering as well.
Okay.
So he's like, hey, is there any way, you know, maybe I can get you to mix this album for me? So I was able to do that for him. I mixed the album. Loyal to the Game was the name of the album. And
Okay, I was just gonna ask you that. What was the name of the album that you worked on?
yeah, Loyal to the Game was the name of that album.
Okay.
And I produced two beats on there. So there's two beats on there. And on top of that, I did the uh, some mixing for it and stuff.
Mixing and mastering, or you're just mixing the
Yeah,
tracks?
both. Yeah.
Okay, that's right. And is that a service that you still offer to people that that want to work with you, or do you just focus in on the production right now?
Um, right now, mainly production, but it's still something I offer. I mean, if there's time, if I'm able to squeeze it into the schedule, I mean, I'm about it. You know what I mean? I definitely still do that. I have
Okay.
the stuff necessary to make that happen.
Now, I know you have a guitar behind you. Do you play the guitar? Do you play other instruments? Like what kind of instruments do you use when it goes into making a beat?
The guitar, I'm trying to learn, and let me tell you,
Okay.
it's super difficult. I mean, I do my best. You know, I'm able to play some little notes here and there, and you know, make
Yeah.
it sound cool a little bit. But no, I'm not. I won't say I'm a guitar player. I'm still learning. I want to learn it. I do want to master it. I hope that I can perfect it at some point. But mostly, as far as instruments go, just the keys, man, the piano. But
Okay.
again, I'm not a piano player or you know, like a musician like that in that sense. But I can play. You get me? Like it's by
Yeah.
ear. It's by ear. So you know, obviously, you know, I'll go in there and knock it out. And you would think I'm like, well, professional piano player, you know, but you know, I play by ear. I play by ear.
That's right. That's right. Well, and with music, sometimes, it's there's a lot of people out there who don't have like the actual technical training, but because they have the ear and they can
Right.
feel the music,
Yeah.
they're able to play. And
That's,
it sounds to me like that's you. I want to get a little bit more into some of the artists that you've worked with, after this little break. So let's take a quick little break and we'll be right back. You're listening to Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Hit us up at 805-395-6595 for your special requests, dedications, and shout-outs. Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Welcome back to Chicano Rap Radio. We're chopping it up with producer CGV about how he got into the music, his influences growing up, how eventually, once he was a rookie in the production game, how eventually he elevated after he went to college and had a little bit more of a formal training. He ended up linking up with some, legendary and well-known artists that helped him, kind of further his skill and his craft and got his name out there a little bit more. Where we left off, that's exactly what we were talking about. Are there any other artists that you've worked with that you feel have elevated your game or like inspired you to keep going with the music?
oh, so many. There's a lot of artists out there to name. I've done mixing, mastering for Paez, True Riders. Let's see, we've worked with Crooks the Felon on his album Stay True.
Okay.
It was a nice way to link up there.
I think
OJ,
OJ the Great, right? There you go. OJ
yeah,
the Great had mentioned you in one of our interviews. What kind of work did you do with
yeah.
OJ the Great?
Shout out to OJ the Great. I produced a couple of things for OJ, and most recently though it was on his Resume EP or album or whatever. The Resume. The name of the song is The Originals, and it's featuring Mr. Shadow, and it's
Yeah,
definitely a certified banger. You know,
yeah, yeah. I've
I don't
heard
know,
it.
but that's one of my favorite ones.
You
Yeah.
got down. Yeah, you all got down. I mean,
OJ, and OJ is actually on a song that I produced for Diablo, Crime Family Entertainment. The name of the song is Back in the Day.
back
And
in the day.
back in the day, that one's got a lot of views on YouTube and stuff. And it's featuring OJ the Great, and that's
Yeah.
another certified banger.
And I imagine with what's going on with Diablo's, personal life right now. I mean, him getting locked up and facing time. I mean, I imagine, that's increased the views and the interest in his music, and
Mhm.
and in turn has also kept your name out there and continued to grow your name as well. Now,
Yep.
you mentioned working with Diablo of Crime Family. Did you work with anybody else in the Crime Family camp,
Yeah, Mr. Criminal,
Mr.
the top
Criminal?
the top dog himself, man. You
Yeah,
know, he
yeah.
reached
Boss
out and
man.
we were able to work on something. He put out an album during this whole quarantine, you know, nonsense. And he called it The Virus. The name of the album is The Virus, the Quarantine Album.
Okay.
And we did a song on there. The name of the song is Ain't Fucking With Me.
All right.
And it's on there, so criminal. But yeah, all these working with all these artists, man, it's just great opportunities just in my career. You know, it's just been a blessing to deal with all these people because yeah, they've all helped in one way or another elevate my game, like you said, you know, and
Yeah.
we're still here pushing.
And you mentioned that growing up, you know you looked up and you were inspired by ALT the Saint. Did you do production for him as well?
ALT the Saint, shout out to ALT. I sure did. He lost a daughter recently, so you know he
Mm,
reached out to me and was like, "Is there, you know, any way we can get something going?" And you know, I had made this beat and I just had him in mind. And you know what? The beat actually I had made it before anything even happened from what I can remember. His daughter was still around and I made the beat, sent it to him, and I incorporated like choruses and he's ALT the Saint, right? So I made the chorus, you know, it sounded like something like that, you know. So uh I sent it to him. I guess his daughter heard it. And like I said, this was before she passed, you know, rest in peace. She heard it and said, Dad, you need to record to that. Like you need to, she was the one that told him, like, hey, you know, hop on that, you know. And
yeah,
so he
yeah,
hopped on it. And then unfortunately, you know, she passed and you know, he had that. He said, okay, this is the song she told me to hop on and get on, whatever. It ended up being a dedication, you know, a dedication to his daughter. And it's a beautiful, you know, very meaningful song. And
yeah.
yeah, it's out there. The name of the song is The Saint.
The Saint,
The
okay.
Saint. Yeah,
ALT the Saint, you know, and the Saint produced by CGV. And I think that that song, you know, is very powerful because, you know, you giving me this backstory, it almost it has a lot of impact, you know, on everybody that was involved in the project. You as a producer, his daughter, and ALT the Saint, you know, it's just crazy how it all worked out, how she
yeah,
pre-selected this
right,
song. And
right.
unfortunately, you know, she passed away, but it's almost like a connection that he has with his daughter because you know she said, "Hey, this is the song you need to jump on," and so that's very powerful. It's very, very,
Very,
very
very, very
impactful story.
meaningful. One of the most meaningful, you know, things that I've done that I've been able to, you know, that I have under my belt, you know, for sure. It's like, wow, you know, it's just, it's an amazing thing for sure.
Now, I know that aside from working with Chicano rap artists, I mean, you know, you as a producer, you know, you don't just you'll work with anybody who wants to work with you, who you feel you know has the talent and has the motivation to elevate your game and their game. What are some of the other artists that you feel contributed to your your climb? You know, in regards to the production, any other artists out there that you work with that you're like, wow, I can't believe I was a part of this.
Definitely. You know, Jay Stone, All Money In Records. And, you know, as everybody knows, you know, Jay Stone is
Yeah.
you know, Nipsey Hussle's guy, you know, they're
Yeah.
on the label, All
Next
Money
in line.
next in line. So I was able to do a couple of songs for him. He had an album he put out in like 2017. The name of the album was Stony Montana, and I
Mm-hmm.
had two songs on there.
Okay.
When I Start Balling and I Know She a Hoe. Those two tracks right there, dope. And it's definitely part of that climb, like you mentioned, you know, it helped me, you know, elevate a little more. And through him, you know, worked with Pac-Man the Gunman as well, which is another label mate in All
Yeah.
Money Records. And at one point, actually, Stone had asked me to work on a song for him and Nipsey. And for one reason or another, it didn't make the cut, you know, but it was just nice to be involved in that.
Yeah.
And
To
for
be
sure,
considered, you
be
know,
considered
to
exactly, you know,
yeah.
for one reason or another, it didn't, you know, they
Yeah.
didn't use the beats or whatever beat I sent, which is cool. It happens, you know, but just the fact, you know, that I was involved in that was great.
So you worked on his album. Didn't you work on another album after Stony Montana? Or work on another track for his follow-up album?
Yeah, he had another album called Written in Stone. Written in Stone was the name of the album, and can't remember the name of the jam, but there's one song I produced on there, so that was on that other album, Written in
That's
Stone.
right. So it sounds to me like, there's a lot of artists out there who, once they work with you and they know what you bring to the table, they just kind of keep you in mind, and they know to call on you, like, okay, I have another album coming out, got to include CGV in the mix, or I had this idea for a project, let me reach out to CGV. And I think that's solid. What would you say is maybe like your signature sound, or what is the reason why these artists, kind of find their way back to production from you?
Um, I'd say my signature sound is West Coast for sure. My influences are just very West Coast. Being from Los Angeles, the West Coast, that's what it's all about. And growing up listening to Dr. Dre and Snoop, and my favorite producer is actually DJ Battle Cat.
Yeah.
He's my number one, and I actually got to meet him a couple times, and
Oh,
we
that's
actually
dope.
we go back and forth sometimes on Instagram. He'll give me shout outs on his video, live
That's
video.
right.
I've yet to like work with him. Maybe one day it'll happen. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's where my biggest influences come from. It was like Battle Cat, DJ Quick, Dr. Dre. So my sound is very West Coast. At the same time,
Yeah.
it's very simple. I don't do My beats aren't too crazy. I mean, I definitely, they're, you know, it's a work, but it's I keep them simple. I keep them West Coast for the most part, but I do a little bit of everything. So you will hear some trap, some soulful stuff, a little bit of everything, hip hop, boom bap, sampling, but I know you see the shirt right here, the Funkadelic. It's another
Yeah.
influence, so it goes
Yeah.
back
Yeah.
even further than just hip hop, funk, George Clinton, Parliament,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all that stuff, man. SOS band, you name it, man. We could go on and on, but
That's probably a connection back to some of the music that you grew up listening that helped
yeah,
spark that little interest in you wanting to pursue a career in music. I had heard that you had also done some work for the late great Slow Pain. Is that a rumor or is that true?
you know, rest in peace, Slow Pain. It's true. He did reach out and we had some things in motion. And that's another crazy thing because I don't know if he ever got the chance to record to that particular beat, but this was another meaningful thing because he said, "Hey, CGV, my favorite oldie of all time is As I Sit Here." I can't remember the name of the group that sings it, but As I Sit Here, is his favorite oldie. So he goes, is there a way you can flip that for me? Like modernize it, man. Do what you do. This is my favorite oldie. Like, I said, you know what, Slow, let me see what I could do for you. And I didn't have any particular ideas, I kind of just played the song a few times. I had heard it before. I mean, everybody knows that song. And I went in and I ended up coming up with something real nice. And he was loving it. And this was like right before he passed, so I don't know if it's ever gonna see the light of day.
So
I
did
do
he
hope
purchase
so.
the beat? Did he purchase the beat, or you just you just shot it to him to check it out to see if it would make the cut?
You know what? I gifted him the beat,
Oh
bro.
wow,
Yeah,
that's
he
right.
he, he was gonna pay, like he was more than willing, but I think it was like Father's Day or something like that. It was right around Father's Day. And then I said, you know what, Slow, this is my gift to you, a Father's Day gift, I said to him. And I'm just happy to be working with you. Right?
Yeah,
Like, thank you. Like I hope we can keep doing it, right? Like keep working and stuff. So I
yeah, yeah,
gifted him that beat and
yeah.
I didn't charge him for it. I said, here's a Father's Day gift to you, man. And
Oh
he was
wow.
loving it, man. He was, it was great. I hope that he recorded to it, man. Honestly, I don't know. I have to try to
Yeah.
see if I can reach out, family, or I don't know. I really don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to reach out to the family and track down the beat and track down the vocals and
Okay.
the share it with the world, because now I want to hear, now
Yeah,
I'm interested to see what you did with the beat and how you flipped it, and then between
sure.
your production and his lyrics, hopefully they exist. I want to see what the final product is. So
That's
um,
the OG.
we
Rest in peace.
yeah, yeah. We didn't get the opportunity to get him here on Chicano Rap Radio. He was definitely on our list, and we definitely, reached out to him. For whatever reason, we weren't able to make it happen. So we just want to say rest in peace to Slow Pain. He was definitely one of the big players in the Chicano rap game. And a lot of people were sad to see him go. There's other people that weren't big fans of him. I mean, I also know of people that weren't fans of him, because they're from the other side of town, and
Mhm.
that's all right. Here at Chicano Rap Radio, we're just looking out for the music, regardless of any drama in between artists or anything like that. But we hope it does make the light of day, and we're able to see what you guys were able to put together. Let's take another quick little break, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Welcome back to Chicano Rap Radio. We're chopping it up with CGV. We've been talking about all the production that he's done on different artists, the songs, the albums, the mixing, the mastering. We were also talking about how he got into the music, and how certain things in along the way have elevated his game, and continue to grow his name out there. One of the things that I wanted to focus on was to talk a little bit more about your relationship with Shadow. I think you guys have worked in the past, and the production between you and his lyrics has been nothing but bangers. Tell me how it is that you two linked up and started working together.
So me and Mr. Shadow, he reached out to me through social media and said, I heard you got beats. I got a project that I'm working on. Would you be able to send something my way? Most definitely. I jumped on it because Mr. Shadow is a legend in Chicano rap, one of the best to do it. So he reached out, I put together a beat, sent it out. He loved it. And that was on Hasta la Muerte, which is Till I Die, in Spanish. He put out an album called Hasta la Muerte, did a song called Hasta la Muerte. And after that, he said, bro, that shit was fire. I gotta make sure we knock some more out. Let's do an album together. I want you to produce the whole thing. I want you,
Damn,
I want you to mix the whole thing. I want you to master. Let's just do it. Let's jump
everything.
right in, everything.
Wow,
And
that's powerful. That's powerful right there for him to kind of give you that stamp of approval, the seal of approval to say, "Hey, I trust your production, your creativity, and your professionalism enough that I want you to work on this next project for me." So, is that something that you're working on now, or is that a future project?
that's something that we're actually wrapping up now. We got a Spanish album in the works. The Spanish album is going to be coming out soon, and it's called Nací sin conciencia, which is,
Born without
again,
a
he's
conscience.
mirroring he's mirroring his English albums with these Spanish albums. And yeah, Nací sin conciencia is the name of this one, and we're wrapping it up. We don't have a release date just yet,
Okay.
but hopefully this year. We're waiting on some touches here and there, but hopefully we can get that out as soon
At
as
what stage of the production are you at? I mean, are you mixing and mastering yet, or you're still recording?
mixing for sure. Just wrapping up the mixing, and just making sure the songs that we have are the right ones to be on there. Just small things like that, details and stuff. But it's there. It's almost done, and I for sure feel like the fans are gonna love this. This is gonna be something that's just gonna blow up for sure. People are gonna love it. I'm excited,
And
very excited about it.
well, you know what? I'm excited too because I know your production. I know what you bring to the table, and I also know obviously what Mr. Shadow brings to the table. But I'm interested in seeing what you're gonna do with the flow of the album because when you have one producer working on the whole album, there's a big challenge between having it sound and having it flow a little different throughout. You don't want the same sound. Every single song. There needs to be some sort of rhythm and tempo change. So I'm interested to see what you both what you come up with in regards to the production and the lyrics of the whole album. I also know that you've worked with him in other projects. Can you name some of the other projects that you two have worked on prior to this big album?
Um, well, right now we actually have we're on the soundtrack right now. He has a cameo in a movie that's out now.
Asi Creci, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Asi Creci is the name of the movie.
Okay, that's right.
It's out now. There's a soundtrack on there, and you got all kinds of hip hop or
Yeah,
Chicano rap artists on there. You have Mr. Shadow on there. You got Night
of
Owl on there,
course,
just to name a
of
couple.
course. The
But
legends.
yeah, yeah. Así que sí. El Jefe del Oeste is the name of the song that's on there, and the song is
Oh wow,
actually in the movie as well. So it's
that's tight.
there. Yeah.
So is that song exclusively on the movie, or can the fans go listen to that now?
Fans can
The
go listen to that now for sure. The song is out now. It's available on iTunes. The movie's actually out now as well, but it's available as of now. It's only available on Google Play and iTunes.
Okay. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, it'll be, and that's enough distribution itself. I mean, if you're on Google, you're everywhere. So if
yeah,
anybody wanted to go check out that movie, I think it's more like it's a lot about rap in Espanol, and it's kind of like a 8 Mile style kind of story,
yeah.
right?
Así que sí, pretty much about a young man who wants to get into the rap game, and you see his struggles and all that stuff, and he works his way to the top. A lot of rap battles and that sort of deal.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And you said Mr. Shadow made a cameo in that. Was he one of the competing, rappers, or do you know his role in the movie?
You know what? I'll be honest. I don't. I'm actually still. I've yet to see the film.
Okay.
But I know he's in there. He's in there somewhere. So
Yeah. And more importantly, your production is in there somewhere, which
yeah,
is powerful.
yeah.
How's that feel to like for your music, to make it onto a movie soundtrack?
This is another great. It's a big accomplishment. This is stuff that I would dream about as a kid. Like I said, I always wanted to be behind the scenes, but
Yeah.
to be able to be featured, for something to be placed in the movie like that. I mean, I'm sure everybody knows, but you watch a TV show, movie, commercial, you hear the song in the back. To be able to say like, wow, like I produced that, and when
Yeah.
it's on TV, when it's film, I mean, this gets played everywhere. It
Yeah.
gets
Yeah.
played everywhere, different countries, and it's a great feeling. I'm truly blessed.
Going back to when we started talking about how you got into the music. You mentioned that you used to freestyle during your breaks or during lunch and at high school. Do you still keep in contact with some of these people that you grew up kind of battling on the playground or the blacktop?
Definitely. I have some real close friends who I still keep in touch with. These are my compas, my guys, my circle here, and
That's right.
it's funny because every time we hang out, whether it's a barbecue, it's usually a barbecue, or whatever, I
Yeah.
always have they always say, we want to hear you rap, you know what I mean? Like bring it back, take it back to the high school days, man. We want to hear you
Yeah.
flow. So they'll bring that out of me, and I'll, first I'm like, no, all right, let's do this shit. And we'll start rapping, and they
That's
very
right.
supportive. They always have been, man. Shout out to all my those guys out here in
Or your
Vegas.
day ones.
They
What
want
what 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 do they think about some of the things that you've done along the way in regards to the music?
they keep me motivated. They always have good things to say. They always support me. No matter what, and it's really nice to have that sort of support.
That's right.
From friends, family, all of the above, and all the artists who I've worked with. But yeah, it's nice when we can sit there and talk about these accomplishments,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they egg me on. They make me feel cooler than I really am. I like to say I'm very humble. Like
Yeah.
I'm chill, super chill, but they kind of blow me up a little bit. Like, yeah,
That's right.
that's my boy. He worked with so and so, and he worked with so and so, and did
Yeah.
this for that person, and he's featured on this, and it's a great feeling for
That's
sure.
right.
I love it.
So I know you're going to continue to elevate your game. I know you're going to continue to get a lot of more uh, like production for big name artists, and you're only going to continue to climb. If someone wanted to get in contact with you for any production, what's the best way for them to do that before you get too big? Before we can't afford you. What's the best way to do that?
No, man. Well, right now, the best way to reach out is through Instagram at CGV Productions. You can hit me on the DM. My email, cgvproductions@gmail.com.
Okay.
I usually deal with artists one-on-one. So it's that sort of deal. I don't have a website at the moment. I do have a SoundCloud. You can check me out there. I'll post stuff here and there. SoundCloud.com/CGV Productions. But yeah, those are the best places to reach me.
Okay. And before we end it, any last words for the viewers or listeners?
The listeners, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has been on this ride with me, this journey. I'd like to thank you for having me on and for the support. Pleasure. And everybody who's watching, just thank you for everything. And I'm here. Hit me up for your production needs. You need some fire, we got it.
Yeah. But without a doubt, and I can attest to that, we have a little, behind the scenes little project going on, and kind of stay posted for that as well. But if you're looking for some dope music, to write some bangers to, definitely reach out to the homeboy CGV Productions. Make sure you stay posted. There's a lot of big things coming in regards to his music and the projects that he's working on right now. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate it. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, homie. We're going to continue to support your journey here at Chicano Rap Radio. So thank you for letting us tell your story. You're listening to Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.
Chicano Rap Radio, raw and uncut.